Welcome to Stairway to English. In this video, you will practice listening and reading with the story Taking Steps Overcomes Anxiety. Stay with us and don't forget to like and comment to show your support. Episode 1, The First Step, Understanding Anxiety. Anxiety is a feeling that many people know very well. It can make the heart beat fast, it can make the hands sweat, it can make the mind think too much, sometimes about things that are not even real problems. When people feel anxiety, they often believe they are weak. But the truth is different. Anxiety is part of being human. It is the body's way of warning us about danger. But sometimes the warning system is too strong. In today's world, many people feel anxiety not because of real danger, but because of stress, change, or the unknown. The good news is that steps can be taken. Small actions, repeated day after day, can slowly reduce the power of anxiety. The title of this story is Taking Steps Overcomes Anxiety, because walking forward, little by little, is the way many people find peace. Imagine a person standing at the bottom of a mountain. The top looks very far away. The person feels nervous, even scared. I cannot climb this mountain, they think. But then the person takes one step. After that, another step. The mountain is still high, but the person is now closer to the top. Anxiety works in the same way. It feels like a mountain in the mind, but each small step, like breathing deeply, going for a walk, or talking to a friend, makes the mountain smaller. Step by step, the mind becomes calmer. Step by step, the heart beats slower. The journey is not easy, but it is possible. One important thing to understand about anxiety is that it grows in silence. When a person tries to hide their feelings, when they refuse to talk about it, anxiety becomes bigger. The brain repeats the same worried thought again and again. It feels like a circle that never ends. The first step to breaking the circle is to recognize it. Saying the words, "I feel anxious," can be powerful. It is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, the person can see what is happening. Naming anxiety does not make it stronger. Instead, it makes it weaker. Once it is named, it can be managed. Another helpful step is movement. The body and the mind are connected. When the body stays still for a long time, the mind can become heavy with thoughts. But when the body moves, like when walking, running, or dancing, the brain changes. Chemicals inside the brain called endorphins are released. These chemicals help people feel happier and more relaxed. That is why doctors often say, exercise is medicine for anxiety. It does not have to be a big workout. Even a short walk outside can bring fresh air into the lungs and calm into the mind. Taking the step every day can slowly build strength against anxiety. Breathing is another small step that has a big effect. Most people do not think about breathing. It happens automatically. But when a person feels anxious, the breath becomes short and fast. The brain then receives less oxygen, and this makes the anxious feeling even worse. Learning to breathe deeply, slowly, and with control can change everything. A simple method is to breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and breathe out for 4 seconds. This exercise tells the body you are safe. The heart slows down, the mind becomes quieter. In just a few minutes, the storm of anxiety begins to fade. Support from others is also a strong step forward. Anxiety often makes people feel alone. They may think no one understands them. But the truth is that many people experience anxiety, and sharing stories helps. Talking to a friend, a family member, or even a counselor can bring relief. The act of speaking the fear makes it smaller. The person listening may not have a perfect solution, but their presence itself is healing. It is like walking the mountain path with someone else. The journey does not feel as heavy when two people walk together. It is also important to remember that progress is not always straight. Sometimes a person takes 3 steps forward and then 1 step back. That is normal. Anxiety is not solved in one day. It is managed slowly. Each small victory, like sleeping better, smiling more, or feeling calm in a stressful place, is proof that the steps are working. The key is to continue, even when it feels difficult. Stopping will let anxiety grow again. Continuing will keep the mountain climb alive. Patience is part of healing. With patience, every person can learn to live with less anxiety. There are many stories of people who faced anxiety and found strength by taking steps. A student who was afraid to speak in class decided to ask one small question each week. At first, their voice shook, but after a month, they were speaking with more confidence. A worker who felt nervous every morning before going to the office started walking to work instead of taking the bus. The walk gave them time to breathe, and slowly their mornings became easier. A young woman who avoided social events decided to attend just one gathering for 10 minutes. Each time she stayed longer. After several weeks, she could laugh and talk with others without fear. These stories show that steps, even small ones, change lives. In the end, anxiety is real, but it is not the end of the story. It does not control the future. Each step a person takes is an act of courage. The steps may look small from the outside, but inside, they are powerful. They prove that the person is stronger than their fear. Over time, the steps turn into a path, and the path leads to freedom. The mountain that once looked impossible is climbed not in one jump, but in many small moves. Taking steps truly overcomes anxiety. Episode 2: Finding Strength in Small Actions. When we think about anxiety, it often feels like a giant problem. It feels too big to handle. Many people believe they need a huge solution to fight it. They wait for one big change that will suddenly make life easy. But the truth is different. The truth is that small actions can bring the biggest results. Anxiety does not leave all at once. It begins to shrink when we take small, steady steps. These steps may look simple, but they have strong power when we repeat them. Imagine a person who is afraid to go outside. The idea of walking in a crowded street makes their heart race. If this person tells themselves, "Tomorrow I will go and spend 5 hours outside," the fear may grow stronger. It feels like too much. But if the person says, "Today I will just stand near my door for 2 minutes," that action becomes possible. The fear is still there, but the step is small enough to manage. And when the person repeats the small step every day, soon standing at the door feels normal. After that, the next step may be walking to the corner. Little by little, the world outside becomes less frightening. This is the hidden strength of small actions. They do not shock the mind. They do not create pressure. Instead, they give the brain a chance to adjust slowly. Anxiety often lives in the unknown. But when we take small steps, we turn the unknown into something familiar. Every small action teaches the brain, I can handle this. I am safe here. Over time, these little moments of safety build into real strength. Think about learning a language. No one wakes up one day and speaks fluently after a single lesson. We learn one word today, another word tomorrow. We practice short sentences, then longer ones. Slowly, we build the ability to communicate. Anxiety works the same way. It is like a language of fear in the mind. The only way to answer it is with daily practice, using small actions as words of courage. There is also a deep emotional change that happens when we take these small steps. Each step creates a feeling of progress. Anxiety tells us that we are stuck, that nothing will change. But one small action proves that change is possible. Even if the step is small, it is still movement forward. That movement breaks the false message of anxiety. It tells us, you are not stuck. You are growing. Small actions also reduce the feeling of failure. When we try to take a huge step and cannot do it, we feel disappointed. We think, I failed again. I am weak. But with small steps, success becomes easier. Standing at the door for 2 minutes is not hard. Walking to the corner is possible. These little successes add up. They create a chain of victories. Each victory, no matter how small, increases confidence, and confidence is one of the strongest weapons against anxiety. Let us take another example. Imagine someone who fears speaking in public. If they try to give a 1-hour speech to a big audience right away, the anxiety may overwhelm them. But if they start with something small, like reading a short text to a close friend, the fear is smaller. The success is more likely. After that, they can speak in front of 2 friends, then 5, and slowly more people. With every small action, the fear loses power. The brain learns step by step that speaking in public is safe. It is important to remember that small actions are not a sign of weakness. Many people think, if I take small steps, it means I am not strong enough. But the opposite is true. Small actions are a smart strategy. They show patience, courage, and wisdom. They show that we understand how the mind works. Strength does not mean jumping into fire without fear. Real strength means walking carefully through fire without letting fear control us. Science also supports this idea. Psychologists use a method called exposure therapy. It means facing fears in small, safe steps. A person with a fear of dogs may first look at a picture of a dog. Then they may watch a dog from far away. Later, they may stand closer. And eventually, they may pet the dog. Over time, the brain learns that dogs are not dangerous. This method proves that small actions create real healing. So, when we think about overcoming anxiety, we must remember this lesson. Strength is not always about big moves. Strength often hides inside small actions that are repeated many times. These steps may seem unimportant, but together they create a bridge from fear to freedom. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what small action did I take today? It could be sending one message, making one call, opening the window, or walking one street further. These steps are seeds. When we plant them, they grow into a garden of courage. Over time, this garden becomes bigger than the forest of anxiety. Episode 3: Building Confidence Through Daily Practice. Anxiety often steals confidence from people. It makes us feel small, weak, and unsure of ourselves. When we listen to the voice of anxiety, it says, "You cannot do this. You will fail. People will laugh at you." These thoughts are powerful, and they create a circle. The more we believe them, the less we try. The less we try, the less we grow. But this circle can be broken, and the way to break it is through daily practice. Daily practice is not about doing something perfectly. It is about showing up, even in small ways, again and again. Confidence is like a muscle. If you train it every day, it becomes stronger. If you ignore it, it becomes weak. Many people wait for confidence before they act. They say, "When I feel confident, then I will try." But real life works differently. We gain confidence by acting first. Confidence does not come before action. It comes after. Just like lifting weights makes your arms stronger, small daily actions make your mind stronger. Think about a person who wants to play the piano. If they only play once a month, they will not improve. They may feel nervous every time they touch the keys. But if they practice even 10 minutes a day, soon the piano feels natural. The same rule applies to anxiety. If we face small challenges every day, they slowly stop feeling like challenges. They become part of normal life. Daily practice also helps the brain learn new habits. Anxiety is often built from habits of fear. We expect danger, so our body reacts with fear. But when we practice courage daily, even in small ways, we build new habits of safety. For example, if someone has social anxiety, they might avoid talking to strangers. If they decide to say hello to one new person every day, the brain starts to see that nothing bad happens. After many days, saying hello no longer feels scary. It becomes a natural habit. Confidence also grows when we celebrate small wins. Daily practice gives us many chances to succeed. Even if the success is small, it still matters. Writing one page, walking 10 minutes, making one call. These things may look small, but they prove to us that we are capable. Each win becomes a stone in the foundation of confidence. Over time, the foundation becomes strong enough to hold bigger dreams. There is also another important part of daily practice: patience. Anxiety often makes us impatient. We want quick results. We want to feel calm immediately. But growth takes time. Confidence is not built in one day or one week. It is built slowly, like a tree that grows from a seed. Each day of practice is like watering that seed. You may not see big changes today, but over time, the tree becomes tall and strong. A good example is exercise. If you go for a short run today, you may not feel much stronger tomorrow. But if you run every day for 3 months, You will notice the change. Your body will be healthier. The same is true for the mind. Practicing small actions daily builds mental strength that lasts. It is also important to understand that failure is part of practice. Some days you may try and feel anxious again. Some days you may not succeed. That is normal. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of the process of success. Daily practice teaches us not to fear failure. When we practice every day, even if one day is difficult, the next day gives us another chance. Over time, failure loses its power to control us. Confidence also grows when we focus on progress, not perfection. Anxiety loves perfection. It tells us, if you cannot do it perfectly, do not try. But perfection is impossible. No one is perfect. What matters is progress. Did you do a little better today than yesterday? That is success. Daily practice shows us that progress is always possible. Even one small step forward is a victory. Let us imagine a person who wants to overcome the fear of speaking English. At first, they are afraid to say even one word, but they decide to practice daily. On day 1, they say one simple word, hello. On day 2, they add a sentence, how are you? On day 3, they speak a little longer. Every day, their courage grows. After 1 month, they can hold a short conversation. After 3 months, they feel much more confident. All of this comes from daily practice, not from waiting for confidence to appear first. Daily practice also teaches discipline. Discipline is the ability to do something even when you do not feel like it. Some days you may feel too tired or too anxious to practice. But if you still take one small step, you prove to yourself that discipline is stronger than fear. Discipline becomes a friend that supports you when motivation is low. This friendship with discipline creates long-term confidence. So, the lesson is clear. Confidence is not a gift that falls from the sky. It is not something that suddenly appears. Confidence is built step by step through daily practice. Each small action adds to your strength. Each repeated effort makes fear smaller. Over time, what once seemed impossible becomes possible, and what once felt scary becomes natural. At the end of each day, ask yourself, did I practice today? The answer does not need to be perfect. Even one small action counts, because daily practice, no matter how small, is the path to true and lasting confidence. Episode 4: Overcoming Fear by Moving Forward. Fear is one of the strongest feelings connected to anxiety. It can stop people from moving, acting, or even dreaming. Fear whispers in the mind, saying, "Stay where you are. Do not try. It is dangerous out there." Because of this, many people live smaller lives than they could. They avoid new experiences, they stay in their comfort zone, and they let fear control their choices. But fear does not have to be the driver of our life. It can be challenged, and it can be overcome by taking steps forward. When we stand still, fear grows. Think about a dark room. If you stay outside the room and only imagine what is inside, the fear becomes bigger and bigger. But if you take one step inside, you begin to see what is truly there. Often, it is not as scary as you thought. The same is true with anxiety. When you face what you fear, You discover that your imagination was worse than reality. The moment you move forward, fear begins to lose its power. Moving forward does not mean doing everything at once. It means taking one step, even if it is small. For example, if someone is afraid of public speaking, they do not need to stand on a big stage immediately. They can start by speaking in front of one friend. Then, they can try speaking in front of a small group. Each step forward reduces fear and builds courage. Over time, what once felt impossible becomes normal. Fear also teaches us lessons. When we move forward despite fear, we grow. We discover strengths we did not know we had. We learn that we are capable of more than we believed. Each time we face fear, we prove to ourselves that fear is not the truth. It is only a feeling. Feelings are strong, but they are not facts. Moving forward helps us separate facts from feelings. There is also a hidden secret about fear. It often points to what matters most. If you are deeply afraid of failing at something, it usually means that thing is important to you. A person who fears speaking in public may actually have a strong desire to share their ideas. A person who fears love may actually want connection more than anything. Fear shows us where our heart is. Instead of running away, we can listen to fear as a guide and then move forward in that direction. Moving forward also brings freedom. When we let fear control us, we become prisoners. Our world becomes small and our choices become limited. But when we step forward, the world opens again. Each step brings more freedom, more possibilities, and more life. Imagine someone afraid of traveling. They stay only in their town for years. Life feels safe, but limited. One day, they take a small trip to the next city. They realize they survived. Next time, they travel a little farther. Soon, the world that once felt closed becomes open. Fear is replaced with excitement. One useful way to overcome fear is exposure. Exposure means facing what you fear in small, safe steps. Psychologists often use this method to help people with phobias. For example, if someone is afraid of dogs, they may first look at pictures of dogs. Then they may watch a dog from far away. Next, they may stand closer. Finally, they may touch the dog. Each step forward reduces fear. This method shows that fear is not permanent. With movement, fear fades. Another key to overcoming fear is support. Moving forward is easier when you are not alone. Friends, family, or mentors can encourage you to take steps. When you share your fears, you discover that many people feel the same. You are not strange or broken. You are human. With support, the road becomes lighter. It is also important to remember that fear and courage live together. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. Courage means moving forward while fear is present. A brave person still feels afraid, but they act anyway. Each time you act with courage, fear becomes smaller. Over time, courage grows stronger, and fear becomes weaker. Daily action plays a big role here too. Fear cannot survive in movement. The more you move, the less space fear has to control you. Imagine standing at the edge of a cold swimming pool. If you stay there, fear of the water grows. But if you jump in quickly, fear disappears. The same happens with many areas of life. Action breaks fear. Failure is another part of moving forward. Many people fear failure so much that they never try. But failure is not the end. It is only feedback. It shows us what to improve. Every successful person has failed many times. The difference is that they kept moving forward. They saw failure not as proof of weakness, but as a step toward success. At the heart of overcoming fear is trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in the process. Trust that even if things go wrong, you will learn and grow. Trust gives you the courage to keep moving. Without trust, fear wins. With trust, you move forward into a bigger life. So, overcoming fear is not about waiting until you feel brave. It is about moving forward even when you feel afraid. Each step forward is a victory. Each action weakens fear. Each movement opens a new door. Fear will always exist, but it does not have to control you. The power is in your steps. Move forward, and fear will fall behind. Episode 5: A New Life Beyond Anxiety. Anxiety can feel like a heavy shadow that follows you everywhere. It sits in your mind, telling you what you cannot do, what you should fear, and what might go wrong. For many people, it feels endless, like a storm that will never pass. But storms always end, and so can anxiety. When we learn to take steps, when we build confidence, when we face fear and keep moving forward, we slowly begin to see that a new life is possible. A life beyond anxiety is not a perfect life, but it is a free life. A life beyond anxiety is a life where fear does not make the decisions anymore. You may still feel nervous, but the nerves do not stop you. Instead of saying, "I cannot," you begin to say, "I will try." Instead of avoiding, you begin to approach. Each time you choose courage over avoidance, you create a new pattern in your life. Soon, the pattern of courage becomes stronger than the pattern of fear. This new life is not about removing all anxious thoughts. No human can live without fear or worry, but it is about changing your relationship with those thoughts. When anxiety says, "You are not good enough," you answer, "I do not need to be perfect. I just need to try." When anxiety says, "Something bad will happen," you answer, "Maybe, but I can handle it." This way, anxiety becomes only one small voice in the mind, not the ruler of your actions. In a life beyond anxiety, small joys return. Anxiety often blocks joy because it focuses only on danger. But when you move forward, you begin to notice good things again. You feel the sun on your face. You enjoy a meal with friends. You laugh at a joke without worrying about how you sound. Joy grows when fear shrinks. This joy gives energy to keep building a new life. Another part of this life is freedom. Freedom to try new things, freedom to travel, to speak, to create, to love. Anxiety limits freedom because it keeps you locked in your comfort zone. But when you take steps, your comfort zone grows. What was once scary becomes normal, and new doors open. Imagine a person who once could not leave their house because of fear. After many steps forward, they can walk freely, meet new people, and explore new places. That is freedom, and it is possible. Relationships also change in this new life. Anxiety often creates distance between people. It tells you that others will judge you, reject you, or laugh at you. But when you move beyond anxiety, you begin to see that most people want connection, not perfection. You start to share yourself more openly. You listen and speak with more confidence. Deeper friendships form, stronger love grows. Connection becomes possible when fear no longer controls you. Work and dreams also become easier. Anxiety often kills dreams before they start. It says, "You cannot do it. You will fail." But in a life beyond anxiety, you try anyway. You may still feel nervous, but you do not let nerves decide for you. This opens the door to success. You begin to write the book, start the business, learn the skill, or chase the career you once thought impossible. Even if failure happens, you now know failure is not the end. It is part of growth. One of the most powerful parts of life beyond anxiety is self-respect. Anxiety often makes us feel weak. But when you face fear and keep moving, you earn respect for yourself. You look back and see all the steps you have taken. You remember the days when even leaving the house felt hard, and you compare them to now when you face challenges with strength. You realize that you are strong. This respect builds deep inner peace. Living beyond anxiety also gives you the chance to help others. Many people in the world suffer from the same fears you once had. When you share your story, you become a light for them. You show that change is possible. You show that small steps create freedom. Your courage inspires their courage. In this way, your journey does not only heal you, it helps others too. Of course, life will still have challenges. Stress will come, problems will appear, and sometimes anxiety will return. But the difference is that now you have tools. You know how to take steps. You know how to practice daily. You know how to face fear and move forward. These tools give you power. Anxiety may knock on the door, but it cannot stay. At the heart of this new life is hope. Anxiety tries to steal hope by saying, things will never change. But hope says, things can be better. Each step you take is proof of hope. Each victory, no matter how small, is evidence that life beyond anxiety is real. So, imagine this new life. You wake up in the morning, and instead of being controlled by fear, you feel free to choose. You choose to speak, to act, to connect, to dream. Anxiety may still whisper, but it is quiet now. Courage is louder. Confidence is stronger. Freedom is real. This is the life that waits beyond anxiety. And the way to reach it is not by waiting for fear to disappear. The way to reach it is by taking steps, one after another, every day.